Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Renata Barreto and I'm a JD PhD candidate at UC Berkeley. Today I'm going to be speaking to you all about our paper on annotator bias and hate speech. This work was conducted with my co-first author, Pratik Sachdeva, along with Claudia von Vacano and Chris Kennedy. Our project quantifies how an annotator's identity, which is shaped by lived experience, values, and so on, influences their labeling patterns. We use the Measuring Hate Speech Corpus created by one of my co-authors, Chris Kennedy, and others. The dataset consists of over 50,000 social media comments across 3 platforms, labeled by over 10,000 annotators. The annotations consist of 5-level Likert scale ratings on 10 survey items, which span different concepts of hate speech. Importantly, the dataset includes demographic information about both the target of the comment and the annotators. We use item response theory, or IRT, to fit a model on the data. We use 3 different IRT approaches to characterize annotator identity sensitivity. For brevity, we'll be highlighting 2. The first is called separated measurements. We split up the comments into 2 subcorpora. We then look at the annotator responses to each subcorpus and fit an IRT model. We compared the annotator leans, the difference in severity estimates on a separated measurement, and found that Black annotators were more sensitive to comments targeting Black folks, and white annotators were more sensitive to comments targeting white folks. We then recast that as the change in the odds ratio on the right, and we see that Black annotators are around 1.4 times more likely to label something as hate speech or containing elements of hate speech when it targets Black folks. Next, to allow for group-level comparison, we considered an approach where we extended the IRT model to allow for an interaction term. We found that group-level interaction terms reveal sensitivity towards an annotator's own racial identity. Specifically, white, Black, Asian, and Middle Eastern annotators exhibited higher sensitivity toward comments targeting their own racial identity. The remaining annotator groups did not exhibit significant results, but this may stem from lower sample sizes. To conclude, we provided 3 methods, highlighting 2, to assess annotator identity sensitivity in machine learning datasets. In a hate speech corpus, we identify a relationship between an annotator identity and their sensitivity to hate speech. Specifically, annotators exhibit more sensitivity in rating elements of hate speech when the hate speech targets a group they identify with. We see sensitivity as a strength when it serves to uplift minoritized communities in the face of algorithmic oppression. At the same time, we reject annotator sensitivity favorable toward white supremacy and aim for our methods to facilitate interventions in these scenarios. Our work has some limitations. For one, our analysis is incomplete. We lack information about the comment's author. Second, our annotator pool consisted largely of white annotators. This implies that severities are implicitly compared to white annotators. We only considered the training data in this analysis, but it's important to consider how these effects manifest in trained machine learning models. Although we mainly considered racial identity in this talk, annotators are not defined by a single identity. It's important to consider intersectionality in future work. Finally, annotators provided the labels we used for specifying the targets of comments. Given the annotator sensitivities we observed, annotators may exhibit similar patterns on the task of identifying targets. Lastly, we wanted to thank our colleagues, Aniket Kasari, Jeff Bacon, and Alexander Son for their support, and thank you for listening.